Live recap of Friday Night Smackdown for June the 18th, 2021. This was the Hell in a Cell go-home show. We had a few changes made to the pay-per-view. I will be discussing that. And we had a main event match we were not expecting 2 days ago. That main event match was Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against Rey Mysterio. Yes, WWE decided to put this match on SmackDown instead of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Let's go ahead and talk about this show. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, and thank you to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. Make sure you stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest wrestling news and rumors. We kicked off SmackDown with a recap of last week, the storyline with Rey Mysterio powerbombing Dominik over the top rope to the outside on the floor. We had Hell in a Cell, the structure above the ring, it lowered down. Mysterio came into the ring and talked about how any father knows the pain, the fear, the sadness that he's going through. He talked about how Reigns tossed Dominik like a bag of bricks to the floor, said that he cannot wait one more day. He knows Reigns accepted the challenge on social media to do the match on SmackDown, but he wanted to hear it from the man himself. Reigns showed up and said that what he did to Dominik was PG compared to what he's going to do to Mysterio, and asked Rey one more time if Rey was sure he wanted this match. Rey said he's never been more ready, and Reigns responded by saying he tried to be diplomatic, but now he's going to do things his way. And that was our setup for Hell in a Cell main event on SmackDown. Good opener here. We had our first match of the evening, which was Big E and Kevin Owens against Apollo Crews and General Aziz. Aziz making his SmackDown in-ring debut. And Sami Zayn was out there on commentary. Aziz actually did some stuff. He did more than Omos. He got in there for a while. He body slammed Big E on the floor. He worked over Big E for a while. He missed an elbow drop, and then Apollo tagged in. Kevin Owens got the hot tag, and Owens was working over both of them, Aziz and Apollo. But then Aziz and Owens ended up on the outside of the ring. Aziz got back in the ring, and Sami Zayn attempted to distract Owens so Owens would get counted out. Owens got back in the ring, but then as soon as he got in the ring, he got hit with the Nigerian nail, and that was all she wrote for KO. I actually liked this because they did a variation of the distraction finish. Instead of Owens in the ring getting distracted, Zayn attempted to distract him on the outside, and Owens did not fall for it, got back in the ring, but then he got hit with the Nigerian nail. I did like this. And after the match, Zayn was backstage laughing at the fact that Owens could not breathe. Zayn was great here. And then after this, Owens went to Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville and said that he wants a match made for Sunday. Adam Pearce said, done, and there you go. We have it for this Sunday. We have Kevin Owens one-on-one with Sami Zayn once again. And Alberto Gomez with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Alberto. He says, Kevin and Sami are about to have as many matches as Cena and Orton did. They are well on their way. They've been wrestling a lot. They go back to PWG and the start of their wrestling careers. I could see them fight forever, but At some point, I would like to see them reunite and get back together and maybe go for the tag team titles. That might be fun. This should be the last one for a while. And by the way, since we already did predictions, and I figured that there was a good chance WWE would change up the card. Recently, I decided to start doing predictions on Saturdays, the day before the show, even though I prefer to do predictions several days before the pay-per-view to give people more time to watch. But with WWE's booking as of late, it's a mistake more often than not because they end up changing the card last minute, adding matches last minute. My prediction for this, I'm going to do my predictions for these additions. Kevin Owens won at WrestleMania. I think it's going to be the same thing. I don't see Sami Zayn beating Kevin Owens. So I am going with KO to beat Sami Zayn once again, and this will be the end of their feud once and for all. I don't see Owens coming off a loss on SmackDown and then losing again to Sami Zayn. They just haven't positioned Sami Zayn high enough for that to happen, in my opinion. And I love Sami, but yeah. Going to be a win for KO. Next up, we had Shinsuke Nakamura, and I'm not going to say it like Rick Boogs does. Shinsuke Nakamura versus King Corbin for the crown. First time in a while I could remember where the King of WWE title was on the line in a match that wasn't the conclusion of a King of the Ring tournament. It's been a very long time, to my recollection at least. So anyways, pretty standard match here. Corbin was yelling, "That's my crown," but then Nakamura made his comeback, hit the Kinshasa, and picked up the win to become the new king of WWE. And there's been rumors and talk about the King of the Ring returning. I hope they bring it back. I hope they bring it back as a pay-per-view, although my feeling is it's going to be another Raw or SmackDown special. But I would be very much in favor of a King of the Ring pay-per-view resurrection. Congratulations to Shin being the king. And finally, no more King Corbin. It's about damn time. We then had a Bianca Belair and Bayley face-off, and Bianca said it was fun to say ding-dong goodbye to Bayley, and that's the way it's going to be Sunday when Bayley loses, saying goodbye to her championship opportunities. And by the way, TGS says Nakamura has become the first person to win the King crown outside of the King of the Ring tournament since Randy Savage won it from Jim Duggan in 1989. I seem to think that that's accurate. WWE pretty much dropped the King gimmick after the Macho King, and then they started doing the King of the Ring tournament in 93. Hamp Connor with a $5 super chat, thank you Hamp, says, "Welcome everyone to the No DQ live review of Friday Night Smack. Let's try to pop a rating down." I see what you did there, Hamp, and yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that the Reigns Mysterio match was done on SmackDown to get a number up because they've been under 2 million for several weeks now. They were doing good with SmackDown. They were over 2 million, and now they've been struggling to hit 2 million, and this very well could have been a way to get those viewers up. So anyways, Bianca cut her usual promo. Am I the only one? Actually, I think TJS thinks this too, but am I the only one that feels like she cuts the same promo, yada, yada, yada? She got bullied and she had to overcome those odds, so on and so forth, having to define herself. Just feels like she cuts the same promo over and over again. And by the way, Michael Wayne says the NBA playoffs. Yeah, I guess so. Walter Cruz with a $3 super chat says, "King of the Ring, always my favorite pay-per-view. B-Day is June 28th. Bias." Well, there you go. June 28th. I'm guessing had some King of the Ring pay-per-views, at least one over the years. TGS says Bianca's promo is the exact same thing every week. Maud W says bland babyface promo, all the wrestlers are bullied. Yeah, it's just getting a little old now. But then the point of all this was that Bianca wanted Bayley inside Hell in a Cell. Bayley arrived. She wasn't laughing this time. The fight broke out between them. Bayley used Bianca's hair to pull her into the barricade on the outside of the ring. And then Bayley laid out Bianca in the ring, grabbed the SmackDown Women's Championship, held it up, and there you go. Oh, by the way, all the Thunderdome screens was a picture of Bayley holding up the title. So Kevin Dunn must be a big Bayley fan to do that to poor Bianca Belair. What a jerk that Kevin Dunn is to put up all those pictures on the screen. At least with Alexa Bliss, like it's supernatural powers that's causing that to happen. But how do we explain Bayley with all the pictures on the Thunderdome? Like, who's helping her? There's something going on here. Some kind of conspiracy. But yeah, they got the Hell in a Cell match. We got to have more than one. We can't just have one Hell in a Cell match at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. We got to have at least two, guys. It's just got to be that way. But I'm sure it'll be a good match. Probably not as good as Sasha and Bayley, but I'm sure they'll be fine. I'm not really that stoked for it because I suspect Bianca will retain her title. And I'm still going with that. When I made the prediction, that was before they announced the Cell match. But, I mean, yeah, I think we're going to see Bianca retain. There was a comment earlier about where is Sasha. Well, right now with Bayley and Bianca in a feud, Sasha's kind of off to the side. So I think it makes sense for Bianca to win. And then when the fans return, Sasha comes back to get her rematch, which will probably be at SummerSlam if I had to make a prediction on that. Brian Spencer with a $5 super chat says, this will never happen, but it would be cool if Bayley cut off Bianca's braid and whipped her with it. That's interesting. That's an interesting twist on that. I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be good heel heat, I think, to do that. Alberto Gomez with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Alberto. I appreciate the super chats from everyone. Says, Cesaro versus Rollins should have gotten the Cell, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, they definitely have a heated rivalry, and Bianca and Bayley kind of is just there. Plus, Bianca already beat her. I do agree with you on that, but, you know, equality, you got to have one women's Hell in a Cell match to go along with one men's Hell in a Cell match. That's how they do things. We had a recap of the Usos storyline, and then Jimmy Uso met with Reigns. There was no Jey Uso. And Jimmy said maybe Reigns is right about everything. They might not agree on 100% of things, but they are family. However, Jimmy has not heard anything from Jey. And then Jimmy offered help to Reigns. Reigns said no. And Reigns' only request was for Jimmy to find Jey, because they need Jey. They need the family fully united. So yeah, no Jey Uso on this show. I guess we'll see where this goes next week. We had the Alpha Academy come down to the ring. They got new music, by the way, more generic stuff. And it was supposed to be a one-on-one match, Otis versus Angelo Dawkins. Of course, last week you had Montez Ford being taken out. Dawkins was by himself. His shoulder was taped up, but he was ready to go. However, Gable attacked him, and this was before the match even started. So Gable ran away from Dawkins. Dawkins ran to the outside, chased Gable, only to get clotheslined by Otis. And then it was a 2-on-1 beatdown. They threw Dawkins into the steps, and then they got him back in the ring and hit their double team finisher, which was pretty badass. They did a lariat / German suplex combo to Dawkins, and Dawkins sold it very well. Like, he just looked like he got shot with a cannon. It was great. It was a really cool spot. The match never started, so it was just a beatdown angle, but it was well done. I liked it. Walter Cruz with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Walter. I appreciate it. Says, am I the only one that hates the red cell, miss the old one? You're definitely not the only one. I'm not a fan of the red cell. You know, they're trying to make it all horror-like and scary, but yeah, it looks like a McDonald's playhouse. It really does. We had a sit-down interview with Cesaro, and he said he doesn't think the Rollins feud has gone far enough. Here's another feud that could have been better suited for the cell than Bianca and Sasha, or Bianca and Bayley, excuse me. Cesaro started to talk about how WWE is his life, and that's when he was interrupted by Rollins. Rollins said he's not there to fight, he's just there to have a convo. He said Cesaro disgusts him, and he will put Cesaro in his place at Hell in a Cell. And Cesaro responded by shoving Rollins out of the chair. So I got a new match to predict. Rollins versus Cesaro, a rematch from WrestleMania. Cesaro won that one. I know people want to see Cesaro continue to get pushed, but I'm thinking a couple months ahead here. Edge is reported to be on SmackDown as a babyface going into SummerSlam. Edge has got to have a big opponent. After Roman Reigns, who's the top heel on SmackDown? I would say it's Seth Rollins. So thus, I think we're going to see Edge versus Rollins at SummerSlam. That is my prediction. And if that's the case, Rollins needs to be built up. You don't want to have him losing to Cesaro if he's going to be facing Edge at SummerSlam. So thus, and because it's also 50-50 booking and we know how WWE operates, I'm going to say Seth Rollins picks up the victory at the pay-per-view. Hamp Connell sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Hamp. He says, I'm honestly tired of Hell in a Cell altogether. I say replace that pay-per-view with King of the Ring and have another Hell in a Cell in like 5 years so it'll mean something. I wouldn't say 5 years, but yes, please get rid of the pay-per-view and do King of the Ring, do Cyber Sunday, whatever, and do Hell in a Cell when there's a good storyline reason to do it instead of the mandatory, well, we got a pay-per-view called Hell in a Cell, we got to do some Hell in a Cell matches. All right, we had our main event, Rey Mysterio, Roman Reigns, inside Hell in a Cell. Mysterio went for a chair and used it on Reigns right from the get-go. Reigns temporarily got it away, but then Mysterio busted out a fire extinguisher, used that, hit Reigns in the head with it, brought out a toolbox and used that. Then we had our first commercial, which, like that cage match between Reigns and Kevin Owens from December, the commercials kind of take away from it a little bit. After commercial, Mysterio was still in control. He actually took the chair and wrapped it around Reigns' neck and threw Reigns into the ring post. So Mysterio coming up with some unique offense here. And Reigns eventually got the upper hand, started the trash talking after the last commercial break. However, Rey was able to counter the spear, hit a 619, started using the chair, and then Reigns was laying on the ground, and Mysterio put a chair over Reigns. Mysterio went to the top, did a splash, which hurt him as well. He then went up to the top and did another splash, but Reigns kicked out. Then Reigns caught Mysterio and picked him up and went for the same move he did to Dominik last week, powerbombed Mysterio over the top rope to the outside, only this time with the cage there, Mysterio crashed right into the cell wall, collapsed on the ground, and then Reigns got Mysterio back into the ring and put on a standing guillotine submission, which Mysterio immediately tapped out from. Thus, making Roman Reigns your winner and still the Universal Champion. After the match was over, the cell raised. Jimmy Uso ran down and raised Roman Reigns' hand. The announcers teased like it looks like they finally are on the same page. And then Reigns attacked Mysterio again after the match, put on the guillotine again, and then held up his championship and wished Mysterio a happy Father's Day. And that, my friends, was the final SmackDown before the pay-per-view. Match was good. It was not a great Hell in a Cell match, and I actually do agree with TGS. It felt simplified, maybe a little bit toned down for TV. It was good. It was a good match, and I liked the ending with Jimmy and Reigns saying Happy Father's Day to Rey. All that stuff was good, but I liked my scenario better with Jay out there and Dominik. I mean, they actually had Dominik sell the powerbomb from last week, so I guess that's good. But yeah, I would have done it differently. I had ideas for it, and I think it would have been more intriguing than what they did. It did feel more simplified, but it was good. And overall, the show was pretty good. They did some build-up for the pay-per-view. They changed a few matches. It does feel like a thrown-together card, but I do think it'll be a good pay-per-view. I expect that the matches will be solid, and even if it's a lame duck pay-per-view, it will still be fun to watch. Overall, I give the show a B+. Very good SmackDown. Most of the show, I think, is worth checking out, especially the main event. Alberto Gomez with a very generous $10 super chat. Thank you, Alberto. Says, fun fact, Mysterio and Reigns were the last two for their respective teams at Survivor Series in 2013. I bet nobody remembered that one. I'm surprised this is the first time they faced one-on-one. Yeah, I did not remember that, so thank you for that stat, Alberto. I very much appreciate it. Darren gives the show a B-, as does Colin Andrew. Some solid B's here from TJS, Tic Tat Tat, and Israel Diaz. Michael Wayne gives the show a B+, as does Matt Helms. And overall, I think you guys are on the money with your thoughts on the show, your critiques. NoDQ.com will have coverage this Sunday of the WWE Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Lots of news up on the website. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And please consider subscribing, turning on notifications for updates. Have a great weekend, everybody. And check out the predictions video. Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat, so I'll read one more here from Walter. He says, I thought Jimmy was going to super kick Roman Reigns for some reason. By the way, thanks for making the pandemic video. Cool to see my idea become reality. B+ for the show. Yeah, there you go. You guys can send me suggestions for videos, and I just might do it. I'm always up for ideas as far as panel videos go. It was well received. Check it out if you haven't already. We ranked all of the pandemic videos from worst to best, or pandemic pay-per-views, I should say, from WWE, ranking them worst to best. Check that out. That's up on the channel. We got our predictions. I just gave my additional predictions for the pay-per-view. And yeah, this Sunday, Hell in a Cell, final pay-per-view of the pandemic. We'll see what WWE does moving forward as they start to transition back to normalcy. Take care, everybody. I'll see you guys next time.